guys, if you're new to Deception Bytes, hit the like and subscribe button and be sure to hit the bell to be notified of future videos. If you wish to support the channel, the links are in the description below. Now, fasten your seatbelt. Here we go. Hey guys, I hope you're all doing well. Tonight is Wednesday and it's December 5th and it's 6:54 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, I took last night off. I needed to withdraw a little bit and do something mindless, watch a comedy to refresh myself because some of this stuff is heavy and it does get a little bit overwhelming at times. But anyway, I'm back tonight and ready to get at it. Now, what we're going to be doing is looking at the Q posts. I'm going to pick up from where I left off in the last video, and I'm going to bring us up to date as of a few minutes ago anyway with the latest Q posts. If Q continues to post tonight, I will bring another video as well, but this will get us caught up to date at this point anyway. So let's get at it. All right, now this is the first post and we're going to go up to where it starts here. And here we are. Yesterday, of course, was December 4th. And if you recall, exactly 1 year to the date, Q posted the following. Now, this was 12/04/17, and yesterday, as we all know, was 12/04/18. He said, "Who knows where the bodies are buried? Flynn is safe. We protect our patriots. Q." Now, please tell me how Q knew 1 year ago to the date that Flynn would be sentenced. How did he know that? I mean, it's a little bit odd, and it seems like today the shills are working overtime on Twitter. I've never seen the likes of it. Saying Q is bull and just all the regular garbage that they spew. But interestingly enough, how did Q know that? This is another proof of Q, if you ask me. Anyway, we're going to go down now because Q makes reference to two tweets by Tom Winter. So I've clipped those out to save us a little bit of time. And I did make them a little bit bigger so that you guys on your phones and your tablets can see them. Here is the first one. NBC News. Special counsel Robert Mueller asked a judge for little to no jail time for retired Lieutenant General Michael Flynn in exchange for what they've described as his substantial assistance to their investigation. What investigation is that? Most people would assume it's the investigation into the Russian collusion. It's not. Anyway, let's look at his second tweet. NBC News. There appears, although the redacted documents do not make it completely clear, that there is a separate criminal investigation going on outside of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's purview, for which Flynn has been providing significant assistance. Bingo! It's a separate criminal investigation going on. That is what Flynn has been providing assistance for and to. So let's go up and see what else Q has to say here, because he's wanting us to read those two tweets, and then he says, he pulls out the important part. NBC News. There appears, although the redacted documents do not make it completely clear, that there is a separate criminal investigation going on outside of Special Counsel Robert Mueller's purview. And he puts plus, and in the kill brackets 3 times. Now, I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I do know that it has some significance. So, not sure. Just one moment. I'm hoping if I drink occasionally that I will not start coughing, because that is annoying to everybody involved. All right, so for which Flynn has been providing significant assistance. Now, Q says, markers are important. December 4th, 2017 to December 4th, 2018. And then he says, think no name. And of course, he's talking about John McCain, or as I like to call him, John McStain. Did Mueller have a choice in making the recommendation? Well, Q's asking a question, but really he's making a statement. No, Mueller didn't have a choice in making the recommendation. He didn't have a choice at all. Who does Mueller now report to? Well, that would be Whitaker. Does Whitaker also oversee Huber plus the Office of the Inspector General? Yes, he does. Excuse me. What cases is Huber plus the Office of the Inspector General, which of course is Horowitz, plus team of 470 currently working on? What are they currently working on? I think this is very interesting. This is a very interesting post, and there's a lot here. What cases is Huber plus the Office of the Inspector General, which is Horowitz, plus a team of 470 attorneys, these are all attorneys, currently working on? Who has the servers? Who has access to NSA UT term 1 to 12? What's he talking about there? He's talking about a special data facility in Utah. And actually, I should have provided the link to that, and I think I'm going to go out there now. I think it's called a data center, Utah NSA. Let me see if I can find it for us, because I think it's important for us to understand what this is. Utah Data Center. Okay, the Utah Data Center, UDC, also known as the Intelligence Community Comprehensive National Cybersecurity Initiative Data Center, that's a mouthful, is a data storage facility for the United States intelligence community that is designed to store data estimated to be on the order of exabytes or larger. I don't even know how big that is, but I can only imagine that it's colossally big. Its purpose is to support the Comprehensive National Cybersecurity Initiative through its precise mission is classified. The National Security Agency, NSA, leads operations at the facility as the executive agent for the Director of National Intelligence. It is located at Camp Williams near Bluffdale, Utah, between Utah Lake and Great Salt Lake, and was completed in May 2014 at a cost of $1.5 billion. So that is what Q is referring to there. Let's go back. So he says, who has the servers? Who has access to NSA UT term 1 to 12? Well, obviously, military intelligence would. The NSA would. And it says, does FISA grant access to NSA umbrella collection? Yes. Yes, it does. And remember when he said that FISA works both ways? And I can't believe that I actually paused on that and said, I'm not sure what he means by that, because after somebody said, well, it means that, they got illegal FISA warrants to spy on Trump and associates, but on the other hand, Trump and Q and whoever was able to obtain legal FISA to spy on them, because it's a two-way street. And of course, that's what he meant by that, and I'm surprised that I missed that, but that's what keeps me on. You guys all keep me on my toes, and I appreciate that. So you are witnessing something firsthand that many cannot possibly comprehend or accept as reality. Sci-fi or precision military planning? Well, we know it's precision military planning. It's been planned for a very long time, and it's been implemented with military precision. And we see this. I mean, look at how could they plan that a year to the date that Q posts that Flynn is sentenced. This is something that is way, way, way bigger than any of us. Coincidences? Reveal without violating national security. Coincidences? Mathematically impossible to be false. Coincidences? Bypass installed restrictions to prevent further legal attachments. Communications understood? 5-5, are we loud and clear? So he's saying, do you understand? Are we loud and clear? Senate was the target. Now, we're going to take further look at this because we haven't exhausted it yet. Now, this is from Lisa May Crowley, who is very good at decoding, by the way, and she's very good. Anyway, exactly 1 year ago today, Q asked who knows where the bodies are buried. Mueller memo last night received no jail time as General Flynn offered substantial assistance. Heavy redactions regarding separate criminal investigation. Whitaker oversees the special counsel and Huber and the Office of the Inspector General investigations. He's over the whole grand tamale. And Huber's been working with the 470 attorneys in the Office of the Inspector General. These are the OIG investigators with FISA warrants on many. He has authorized access to NSA data. That's all the data in Utah, which is all the cyber security stuff. So that's, probably emails and tweets. And I mean, if it goes across, the internet, then it's collected. So he has access to all that, just like Q predicted. No-name death exactly 30 days prior. And remember that? And we were all kind of marveling at that, like, how did he know? How did he know that his death was going to be exactly 30 days later? Well, now we know how he knew, but at the time, we weren't thinking that. We weren't thinking, oh, this is a planned thing. Anyway, so just like no-name death exactly 30 days prior, Q predicted General Flynn would be safe and ID'd as key witness in huge criminal investigation versus the deep state a year ago. So this is it's all playing out as planned. And for all the shills that are out there saying all this garbage, they obviously have not looked into this very deeply, if at all. So now let's come down here. I said Flynn is sentenced a year ago to the date after Q posted that Flynn was safe. There is a second separate investigation which Mueller is not part of. It is into the events leading up to and after the 2016 election. Whitaker has oversight of Mueller probe. Huber and Horowitz, the Inspector General, and military intelligence has access to the Utah data center. So that is what Q is wanting us to know here in this post, and we're going to move on. And here's the next one. And this is December 5th, so we are now up to today's post. This was posted just after midnight this morning. And Q said, logical thinking. D5 drops first, last, content, and dates. Huber drops first, last, content, and dates. Role of Huber as portrayed by Q. What are the odds, mathematical probability that Huber would be scheduled to testify regarding the Clinton Foundation on December 5th? What are the odds, mathematical probability that George Herbert Walker Bush passes away and the state funeral date is on December 5? What other interviews and investigations were wiped clean, postponed, given a state funeral takes up media coverage for a week? Why does the global fake news media, largest in the world, continually attack Q? Why is the Washington Post leading the attack? Think ABC agency. When you are awake, you can see clearly. Rapid fire. Now, there's a lot in this. There's a lot in it. But, of course, we know that Huber was scheduled, that hearing was scheduled for December 5th into the Clinton Foundation. Now, that's big, and of course, the deep state, they're trying to postpone this. Why? And hence the state funeral, which really, by my estimation, should have been like a week ago, because based on Comey's tweet about his dog dying, and we know that was a signal to let everyone know that Senior Bush had died. Comey doesn't even have a dog, and his name was Benji, the dog, which we went over that in the last video, so I'm not going to get into that here. But yeah, they did this on purpose to delay that. Now, why do they want it delayed? They want it delayed until the Dems take over the House. That is what they're trying to delay it for, so that they can railroad it altogether. That is what they want. Now, when he says, yeah, they're leading this attack on Q, which they say is a conspiracy theory, but I've never seen them give that much space, time, and effort to any other conspiracy theory. Have you? I mean, they just didn't even talk about 9/11 when people were talking about that being an inside job. I mean, they didn't really discuss that except to counter it. But even that, they just would rather keep it out of the news at all. And yet here, it's just everybody is continually attacking Q, but saying it's just absolutely ridiculous and out there. Yeah. And why the Washington Post? Well, because it's owned by Jeff Bezos, and Amazon had a huge contract with the CIA. So that's what he's saying. That's what he's pointing out here. But let's look a little further. And rereading, and I believe this is from Lisa May Crowley as well. I want to give credit where credit is due, and I never want to take credit for someone else's work. Rereading all D5 and Huber posts, it's clear General Flynn was key witness in investigation regarding how Hussein, Hillary Rodham Clinton, et al. Conspired with domestic and foreign entities to sell us out, stop Trump from winning, Spygate, and cover up when he won. And of course, they even had a plan for if the remote possibility that he got in as president, they had Crossfire Hurricane to be able to counter that. Anyway, odds mathematically improbable for 41's death to occur the very week Huber, Comey, Lynch, and Clinton Foundation whistleblowers, etc., were asked to testify. It was their last-ditch effort to delay. Q is being attacked, has been attacked, and is being attacked by the mainstream media with the Washington Post clowns, which are, CIA assets, probably. In all probability, I would be absolutely gobsmacked if they weren't. Leading because Q bypasses the mainstream media. Expect more rapid-fire hit pieces. So there we go. Very interesting stuff here. And this whole thing about the funeral really is very, very interesting. And watching their body language at the funeral, I found fascinating. I don't know if any of you all saw it, but just very, very interesting. There's just a lot of interplay going on between them, glances, just all sorts of interesting things. I noticed that when former President Bush, Jr., well, obviously, Senior's not going to be doing anything, but the presidents, like President Bush, President Donald Trump, Melania, and then there were the Obamas, and then the Clintons were all sitting in a row. And Junior Bush came up, shook their hands, but he passed something to Michelle Obama. And she looked down just slightly and smiled. And to me, I don't think it was a note. I think it was a disk drive, like a flash drive, personally. Because if it had been a note, she wouldn't immediately know what it was or what it said. But she looked down and she smiled. Like, oh yeah, okay, I know what this is. So that's my 2 cents anyway. Let's go on. And here we've got a beautiful picture of an American flag, the most beautiful flag. And it's got a link to Barbara Redgate, who is the sister of Michael Flynn. and it would be the aunt, of course, of Michael Flynn Jr. And anyway, we're going to take a look at that in a second, but this Q post says, "Attention on deck for God and country." Q. Now, attention on deck is something called when a senior officer enters a room of junior ranking personnel. That's how they're saluted. They say "attention on deck," and they salute the senior officer. If I'm wrong about that, please someone let me know. And here is the tweet by Barbara Flynn. She said, we just wanted to let everyone know our family will forever be grateful for the outpouring of love, prayers, and messages we have received today. We are deeply moved and thankful. God bless you. God bless General Mike Flynn. So that post is pretty self-explanatory, but I like that Q is kind of giving a hat tip to General Flynn. And we're going to come up to the next one where Q is making reference to a post that he made on the 3rd of December. And here he says, "Postponed. Well played, Deep State. Please allow us to counter." So, of course, we know that the hearing was postponed because of the funeral and of 41, and he's saying, okay, yep. Q's saying, yep, okay, well played, but allow us to counter. So let's look at what this could mean. Again, this is Lisa May Crowley. I think she did a very, very good job of explaining this. Q gave Deep State hat tip for expending their ammo, George Herbert Walker Bush, to delay Huber, Comey, Lynch regarding hearings and Clinton Foundation whistleblower on Hannity on Monday. Please allow us to counter. Was Mueller's sentencing memo at General Flynn huge news? The mainstream media covering, thinking it's bad for @real Donald Trump. They're wrong. So what she says, and I'm not sure if I agree or not, but I wanted to posit it anyway. She says that she believes that this is giving a hat tip to the deep state, and first of all, for the delay, and by the way, it has been delayed to December 13th. So December 13th is now the date for the new hearing, and it'll be interesting to see if they come up with something else. I mean, they're running out of people to die. I guess Jimmy Carter is getting very, very old. I think he's in his 90s, so I guess it's possible that he could die. And they say that Bill Clinton isn't doing well. Hillary obviously isn't doing well. She's wearing a defibrillator. And that, by the way, is why she always looks so odd. When you see her in pictures, it just looks very odd. She's wearing a defibrillator, and that is why it looks like she's having seizures. No, she's not having seizures. That's when the defibrillator kicks in to restart her heart or shock her heart. So that is what is going on with her. It makes perfect sense that it's a defibrillator because she's obviously wearing something. Remember, we were saying, is she wearing a bulletproof vest? No, she's wearing a defibrillator, and that's why, at times it's shocking her. That's why she looks like she's having a seizure. That's not a seizure. I think that is the defibrillator. She's got heart issues, and so that is what that is about. So what I'm saying is, I guess, I don't know who could be next to die, naturally or otherwise, I'm not sure. But my guess is they're going to try to pull something to have that delayed, because they want it delayed until the Democrats take the House. That's what they want, because then there's a chance they can railroad it all together, and that's what they're hoping for. So let's go on to the next post. And, oh yes, this is a big one here. Let me see. I want to make sure I get it where, yeah, okay. All right, here we are. Here's the next post right here. And Q gives a link to a to a Wall Street Journal article, another high-ranking FBI official to depart, and that is Mr. Presap. Now, he said after Mr. Presap's departure, none of the high-ranking Bureau officials involved in the two investigations will remain with the Bureau. And Q says, follow the names on the list provided. Update. Panic in DC. The Clinton Foundation. That's why they're panicking, okay? Is the Clinton Foundation. He's telling us why they're panicking. It's all about the Clinton Foundation being looked into. Nothing to see here. Q. So, what is he talking about? First of all, I'm not going to go out to this article because it's just about Mr. Presap's departure. When Q says follow the names on the list provided, update, he's talking about the list that he has previously provided to us. Now, that's the list with all the names and whether they're cooperating, whether they were asked to leave, forced to leave, what have you. So here is that list right here. And it is from April 27th, 2018. And Q says, focus only on the FBI for now. Jim Rybicki, Chief of Staff and Senior Counselor, fired. James Baker, General Counsel, fired. Andrew McCabe, Deputy Director, fired. James Comey, Director, fired. Bill Presap, Head of Counterintelligence and Strzok's boss. He is a cooperating witness with his power removed. So, this was back in April. All right, now we're hearing in the news that he's departing. Oh, but I'm sure none of that, I'm sure it's all coincidence, right? Yeah. So let's go down the list here. Peter Strzok, Deputy Assistant Director of the Counterintelligence, cooperating witness, power removed. Lisa Page, attorney with the FBI's Office of the General Counsel, cooperating witness, power removed. Conspiracy? Think about the above. Only the above. Get the picture? Q. Yeah, I get the picture. He's cleaning out. He's cleaning this out because you can't bring people to justice when the very people that would be prosecuting them are involved. You can't do that. He had to clean house first. I don't understand these people that are so hard on Q, why they don't understand that. And it's obvious that he is doing that. He is cleaning house. You think these people are just leaving on their own? No. Okay. And here's the updated one Q is making reference to. Just one moment. Okay. No, this is not a milkshake. It is pure juices with protein powder added, and it's delicious. Anyway, updated. James Baker, fired, reported today. Now, that's not today. Removed. January, fired, 4/21. Lisa Page, fired, reported today, resigned, false. Testimony received, tracking, yes, added. Mike Cortan, FBI Assistant Director for Public Affairs, fired, cooperating under resigned title. Josh Campbell, Special Assistant to James Comey, fired. DOJ. So now he's getting into the DOJ list. Dave Loffman, Chief of the Justice Department's Counterintelligence and Export Control Section, National Security, and he was involved in the Hillary Rodham Clinton email investigation. He was fired and forced to leave. John Carlin, Assistant Attorney Director, Head of DOJ's National Security Division, fired, forced to leave. Sally Yates, Deputy Attorney General and Acting Attorney General, fired. Mary McCord, Acting Assistant Attorney General, Acting Head of DOJ's National Security Division, fired, forced. Bruce Orr, Associate Deputy Attorney General, demoted 2 times, cooperating witness, power removed. Rachel Brand, Associate Attorney General, number 3 official behind Deputy Attorney General Rosenstein, fired, forced to leave. Cross against House, Senate resignations, final term. Announcements plus CEO departures. Conspiracy, fake news, the swamp is being drained. Trust the plan. Justice. Q. And it is being drained. And speaking of CEO departures, I just read before I started this video that the CEO of Red Robin has I can't remember now if it said he resigned or he commits suicide. Just one second here. I think it's over here. He commits suicide, and he is rumored to have affiliations with Epstein. Isn't that interesting? Red Robin, yum. I loved Red Robin when I was living there. Oh, loved it. Anyway, it's just as well that I don't have one nearby. So anyway, let's go back to Q here. That was just kind of an aside. All right, so we've looked at that list, and anybody looking at that list, believing that there's nothing happening, probably needs to have their head examined. And now Presap was the FBI Director of Counterintelligence, and he was a cooperating witness. And apparently, you know, if he's leaving, I guess his job as a witness is done, maybe, I don't know, but he's leaving. So that is that post, and let's go up to the next. And here we have a picture of them all at the funeral of Senior Bush, and it says POTUS, FLOTUS, and this is, you know, Q is making reference to an Anon's post here, and this Anon posted this picture and said POTUS, FLOTUS, not participating in this evil. They have their hands down, they have their heads slightly bowed. Everybody else here looks to be either reading or singing, or I'm not sure what they're doing there. But underneath, Q, making reference to this above, says, one man who gave up everything, risking his life, himself, family, to fight for and defend we, the people. Bait expends ammunition. Evil has no place here. Q. And he really did risk his life, because his life is continually at danger now. So is the life of his wife and children. And, you know, really, he's not doing it for money. He had lots of money, enough money to last him a lifetime and then some. So, you know, I totally agree with this assessment, and it's interesting. He said bait expends ammunition. And that's true. If you've got a gun and your enemy is baiting so that you think, oh, he's over there, I'm gonna shoot. No, he's over there, I'm gonna shoot. And then you keep shooting until you have no ammunition left. And then your enemy says, like, okay, well, they can't shoot at me anymore because they've used up all their bullets. And that is what they're doing to the deep state. They're getting them to expend their ammunition. Pretty soon, they're going to run out of ammunition. The bait was the announcement of D5 Huber testimony on the Clinton Foundation. The deep state responded by expending their ammunition, trying to delay or circumvent justice. But in the end, that's all they can do is delay or circumvent it. They can't completely, you know, eliminate it. Oh, they are going to be brought to justice. They are. Now, let's go up to the next post here. And we have this. We have a link to the oversighthouse.gov hearing oversight of nonprofit organizations, a case study on the Clinton Foundation. That is the link. We're going to go to that shortly. But underneath, Q says, will another attempt to delay be made? Delay till Democrats control House? James Comey plus Loretta Lynch. Moves and counter moves. See something, say something. Q. So Q is telling us what their tactic is. They are trying to delay this hearing until the Dems control the House. Now let's go and take a look at the link that he's provided for us. And it's here. Hearing. Oversight of nonprofit organizations, a case study on the Clinton Foundation, Subcommittee on Government Operations, Subcommittee on Government Operations, hearing date December 13th. So this is the hearing that was supposed to take place today, and it has now been postponed until the 13th. So it's interesting because there's a lot here, and I think it'll be interesting what comes to light in all this. I wish that I could be there. I don't know if probably that hearing's not open to the public. I wouldn't assume, but anyway, let's go back to Q. And oh yes, right here, I wanted to show this, that it's been postponed, and I already mentioned that. So the hearing has been rescheduled for December 13th. Will they try to delay it until the Dems control the House? Well, I think they're going to try. I really do. I think they're going to try their very level best, whether it's from I'm not going to say it or I'll get my video dinged, but they may plan a FF or possibly another high-profile death. We don't know. But time will tell. The 13th is quickly approaching. So let's look at this. Q is making reference to the post that we just looked at, and underneath he gives us some additional interesting information. He says Whitaker, Horowitz, Huber, and Ray. Now, what do these four people have in common? They're the white hats. They're all good, and they're all people that Q has told us we can trust. Okay? They're on the right team. Whitaker, Horowitz, Huber, and Ray. Long meetings held within a skiff, which is unusual. Usually indicates something highly important was discussed, planned. Q. So they're meeting in is it a sensitive compartmentalized information facility? I always forget the first word in that, but I want to make sure I'm saying it properly. Because I always want to call it, sensitive compartmentalized information facility. I always want to call it a secret compartmentalized, which makes no sense, but all right. Let's go back. So they're meeting in a skiff, which of course you can't even take a cell phone in there. You can't take any material out. It's completely, nobody can hear. There's no bugs or anything. It's completely sealed from the outside world. Nobody can see in. They can't see out. They can go in there and read material, but they cannot photograph it or photocopy it or take anything out of that room, and everything that's discussed in that room is, of course, secret, classified, rather. So these are the good guys, and they are likely discussing, these are the good guys, and they are likely discussing FISA-related intel. That would be my guess. But at any rate, seeing these four discussing things in a skiff is good. It's good news because we know that we can pretty much guess what it is that they're discussing and what is coming. So let's move on. And this I can verify because I was out on Twitter and it was literally turning my stomach at the disinformation that's out there. I started countering a couple people, and then I thought, you know what? I could spend all day doing this, and it's just going to fall on deaf ears anyway because they know exactly what they're doing. They're not doing this out of ignorance. They're doing this as a matter of war. This is a type of war. It's informational warfare, and that's what they're doing. So me expending my energy trying to counter that is pointless and very unproductive, and I thought I'm better off coming here and reporting on Q and the Q-related news. I think that it is a much better use of my time. So this says, the blue checkmark fake news Twitter personalities are out in full force today attempting to push another false narrative that arrests were supposed to occur today. And that is exactly what they're doing. They are baiting Q followers by saying, what happened to all these arrests? Or these people are so crazy, they thought everybody was going to be arrested. Now, there was a picture of a bus arriving at the funeral, and the bus had a D on it and a 5. And, you know, there was a few people on Twitter that pointed this out. Oh, cool, there's D5. Well, there's one particular person on Twitter that was saying, oh, they're going around saying that everybody on that bus is going to be arrested because it says D5. Nobody said that. Nobody even thought that. Nobody's retarded enough to think that. But that is what they're claiming because they have no integrity. They have, I don't know how they sleep at night, but they probably do. They probably sleep quite well because they have no conscience. You need to have a conscience for something to keep you awake. They don't. So there you go. That's what they're doing. Controlled narrative? Well, of course. Of course. They're just trying to control the narrative, as always. And Q says facts matter. Yeah, they matter all right. How much attention does Q receive from the fake news media? A whole lot. Way too much. Actually, now that I just saw this hashtag facts matter, I think what I will do the next time I see that is just respond with the hashtag facts matter because obviously Q is wanting this to trend, I would assume, or he would not put it in his post. Facts matter. Hashtag. How much attention does Q receive? A lot. Why are they working so hard to try and discredit something they label as a fake conspiracy? Well, that's a very good question. You know, there's things that I think are conspiracies that are absolutely retarded. And, you know, I'm not saying they could be true. I don't know. Things like Elvis still being alive. There's some evidence, but I think it's probably a little out there. So if I was a journalist, I probably wouldn't spend my time addressing that. And so, you don't expend energy and time and resources addressing something you don't even believe in. Doesn't make sense. People awake are what they fear the most, and that is definitely true because we do have the power. Look at what's happening in France. Unbelievable. And the images that are coming out now of the ambulances and the firemen and everyone else standing with the yellow vests, and of course they say that they are protesting fuel tax, but we know that they are protesting the whole globalist agenda, the whole migration, everything. So, and you know something? They do have the power. They do have the power. Let me tell you, we have more power than we think. People awake is what they fear the most. Loss of control, the Great Awakening, where we go one, we go all. Q. Of course, they realize that if they lose control, they lose their power. They lose their relativity. They lose everything. And they're fighting to maintain that. Even if they have to maintain it under a false narrative and an illusion, they're going to do whatever they can because they want that power. They want to stay relevant. Okay, let's move up to the next Q post, and we've got another link here, and it says FBI email chain may provide most damning evidence of FISA abuses yet. This from The Hill, and it says, what do you want for Christmas? Now, I don't like that Q put an X for mass because it's leaving Christ out. I don't appreciate that as a Christian. I'm just saying it how it is. But at any rate, what do you want for Christmas? Q. Now, let's go take a look at this article. Alrighty. Hang on. Here we go. By John Solomon, opinion contributor. Just before Thanksgiving, House Republicans amended the list of documents they'd like President Trump to declassify in the Russia investigation. With little fanfare or explanation, the lawmakers, led by House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes, added a string of emails between the FBI and the Department of Justice to their wish list. Sources tell me that targeted documents may provide the most damning evidence to date of potential abuses by the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, FISA, evidence that has been kept from the majority of members of Congress for more than 2 years. The email exchanges included then FBI Director James Comey, key FBI investigators in the Russia probe, and lawyers in the DOJ's National Security Division, and they occurred in early to mid-October before the FBI successfully secured a FISA warrant to spy on Trump campaign advisor Carter Page. Ruh-roh. The email exchanges show that the FBI was aware, before it secured the now infamous warrant, that there were intelligence community concerns about the reliability of the main evidence used to support it, the Christopher Steele dossier. The exchanges also indicate FBI officials were aware that Steele, the former MI6 British intelligence operative, then working as a confidential human source for the Bureau, had contacts with news media reporters before the FISA warrant was secured. The FBI fired Steele on November 1st, 2016, 2 weeks after securing the warrant, on the grounds that he had unauthorized contacts with the news media, but the FBI withheld from the American public and Congress until months later that Steele had been paid to find his dirt on Trump by a firm doing political opposition research for the Democratic Party and for Democratic presidential candidate Hillary Clinton, and that Steele himself harbored hatred for Trump. If the FBI knew of his media contacts and the concern about the reliability of his dossier before seeking the warrant, it would constitute a serious breach of FISA regulations and the trust that the FISA court places in the FBI. That's because the FBI had an obligation to certify to the court before it approves FISA warrants that its evidence is verified and to alert the judges to any flaws in its evidence or information that suggests the target might be innocent. We now know the FBI used an article from Yahoo News as independent corroboration for the Steele dossier when, in fact, Steele had talked to the news outlet. If the FBI knew Steele had the media contact before it submitted the article, it likely would be guilty of circular intelligence reporting, a forbidden tactic in which two pieces of evidence are portrayed as independent corroboration when in fact they originated from the same source. These issues are why the FBI email chain, kept from most members of Congress for the past 2 years, suddenly landed on the declassification list. The addition to the list also comes at a sensitive time, as House Republicans prepare on Friday to question Comey, who signed off on the FISA warrant while remaining an outlier in the intelligence community about the Steele dossier. Most intelligence officials, such as former CIA Director John Brennan and the former Director of National Intelligence, James Clapper, have embraced the concerns laid out in the Steele dossier of possible, but still unproven, collusion between the Trump campaign and Russia. Yet, 10 months after the probe started, and a month after Robert Mueller was named special counsel in the Russia probe, Comey cast doubt on the Steele dossier, calling it unverified and salacious in sworn testimony before Congress. Now, I'm not going to get into this further. It's a lot to read, and I know it's very tiring listening to somebody else read, but the main thing that we need to know is that they're now wanting this email chain to be declassified. And Q says, what do you want for Christmas? Well, that would make a really good Christmas present. I don't know about you, but I think that it would be a great Christmas present for me. I'd be happy with that. I don't need, jewelry and, all these expensive things. Yeah, give me a declassification. I'll be good with that. All right. So here we go on to the next one. And here is another link to another article. And Obama's FBI brass hollowed out after latest resignation of key official. And here, Q says, it's all just a conspiracy. Nothing to see here. Nothing is happening. Russia, Russia, Russia. Q. It's like Marcia, 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 only it's Russia, Russia, Russia. So sick of hearing about Russia. Really. Now, let's go take a look at this article. I don't really necessarily think that Q is wanting us to read the whole article, but just to be aware of it. Obama's FBI brass hollowed out after latest resignation of key official, that, of course, being Presap. Another top FBI official who helped oversee the Trump, Russia, and Clinton email investigation is retiring as the last traces of the Bureau's embattled leadership team that once stood under Barack Obama's presidency disappears. And you know what I have to say to that? Bye-bye. The official Bill Presap will retire from his post as Assistant Director of the FBI's Counterintelligence Division by the end of this year. And like I said, bye-bye. Let's go back. And it's all just a conspiracy. Russia, Russia, Russia. All right. And let's go on. Here we go. Russia equals the real conspiracy. Define projection. Yeah, that's what they're doing. They are accusing Trump of doing the very thing that they did. The very thing that they did. Colluding with the Russias, with Russia, selling uranium to Russia, Bill receiving all that money for a speaking engagement in Russia. I mean, just it's Hillary. It's always been Hillary colluding, and Obama. But no, they have to push that over because that is a tactic. That's one of the tactics listed by Saul Alinsky. That's what you do is you accuse your enemies of the very same things that you are doing. What happens when they lose control and the truth is exposed? Ooh, that's going to be a little ugly. Seriously. What happens when people no longer believe or listen to the fake news, controlled media, controlled Hollywood, controlled blue checkmark twit shills? Oh, I love that. Twit shills. Twit shills. It's hard to say, but it just rolls off the tongue somehow. Twit shills. Fake news, controlled media, controlled Hollywood, controlled blue checkmark twit shills, etc., etc. The Great Awakening. Sheep no more. We, the people, for God and country, we fight. Awesome. Not much to decode there. Pretty straightforward. And that is the last of the Q posts that I have anyway. Now, Q may be out there still posting up a storm. And if he is, I'm going to do another video later this evening with those posts included. But for now, this brings us up to date, but I did want to draw your attention to one additional thing here, and that is the funeral for George Bush Sr. If you'll notice, both John McCain and George Bush Sr., the flag that was draped over their coffins, both wrinkled. I noticed that, and I noticed that it was very prominent in the news that they took a picture of the flag upside down. I'm not sure why they didn't walk around and take it from the other direction. That kind of perplexes me because I would not, if I was a reporter for a major news source, I would not want the picture to be of an upside down flag. I would walk around the coffin and take it the other way, but they didn't. Why? Now, I saw this on Twitter because I remember thinking, gosh, couldn't someone have smoothed that flag out? I mean, after all, it is the flag. But this person pointed out something very interesting, and I think she's right on. She says, whoa, 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 wait a minute. I grew up in the funeral business. There is not to be a single wrinkle in an American flag used to drape a casket. It's totally unacceptable. And for a president, a commander-in-chief, I'm telling you right now, these wrinkles are very significant. I'm wondering if the wrinkles are done on purpose to show us that the people under the flag are traitors. I don't know. What do you guys think? I would be very happy to hear what you have to say in the comments below. Let me know. And also, I'm thinking of maybe throwing in some videos now and then, doing like a live video, and where you can, I guess it's called Super Chat. I've never done one. I'm not quite sure how to do one, but I'm thinking of it. So let me know what you guys think, and if you'd be interested in that. Anyway, that's it for now. It is now 7:49 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm going to sign off for now. Hope you have a wonderful evening. I will be back with another video, and stay safe, stay well, and talk to you real soon. Thank you so much, those of you that have subscribed, those of you that have sent me money for coffee now and then, or joined my Patreon. I really appreciate it. It helps more than you know. Anyway, thank you so much, and I'll talk to you real soon.